so I think we're on time.
Okay.
So I'd like to call the meeting to order. We'll call appointment of alternates. Do you have anyone? I think everyone here is a
Full member.
Full member, so no alternates.
I think the only one
I
is
think
Charlie on.
Charlie, we could have him, Charlie, if we could sit for, we have a vacancy, don't we?
Yes, we do.
Yes, so he can sit for the vacancy. We have no public hearings. Thank you, Charlie. And we'll move to new business, receipt of new applications. Application number 20-01 of Tom Taberski, applicant, Town of Simsbury, owner, to construct a permanent fence to replace a snow fence from Circle Garden to Band Shell at Simsbury Meadows on the property located at 22 Iron Horse Boulevard, Assessor's Map H09, Block 226, Lot 003A, Zone SCZ. All right. Thank you, Tom. You want to present your...
Good evening. Tom Taberski, I'm the Director of the Recreation of Simsbury Culture Parks Recreation Department. What we're attempting to do at 22 Iron Horse is get rid of the temporary fencing that goes up during the performance season each year. Whether it's orange or it's green, nobody seems happy with it. It falls down all the time. We'll be replacing it with a commercial grade steel fence. In the section that we're applying for the permit from the Circle Garden to the west side of the band shell, leaving three gate openings in that section.
Yes,
Three gate openings.
hello.
Yes.
Capolita.
Oh, hi, Joe.
How are you?
So there'd be three gates in that section of fence that we're applying for the permit for. We're hoping to do that job this spring, actually in April ideally. I provided those in the room with a sample of what that fence would look like. It's the top part of the picture. And I brought a sample.
They can at least see
Oh,
this.
sure.
So, if you're all watching,
This is the type of fence. It's not the exact model that you see in the top of your picture, but it's a commercial grade steel fence. The post would be set in concrete, set deep enough below the frost line, so there won't be any movement with those. And again, this would be a permanent fence located down there. Are there any questions?
Where are the wetlands from our perspective for this board?
Tom can answer.
I believe that these will be moved, the wetlands areas run in this general area.
So the field? the
It's
soils
mainly in the
and
field,
fields.
correct.
Okay.
This would be in the upland review area.
Okay.
Isn't there also a wetland down
There is some, I believe from my review, there's some over on this
on that
side,
side? And
but it's not in this general
Okay.
vicinity.
Yeah, I believe what we were looking at is you were from behind where the little office, the little temporary office is that's the distance I think we were coming from.
Yep.
Right by to the south of the playground.
So this is basically an improvement to what you have today?
Correct, yes. Yep, and this would, again, it'd be permanent, it'd be year-round.
Right.
And any soil you excavate, the hole will be put back in, or any extra
The
soil
hole-
will be taken off?
Any excess soil will be taken off the property and the holes will be filled with cement and the remaining material. So everything should be level to the ground after it's done.
Where are you gonna take the excess soil?
The contractor's taking it off-site. They gave us the option to keep it on-site, we don't have anywhere to put it at this point.
And there are floodplain issues in here about cut and fill, so they would have to keep their levels equal.
Are there any other questions?
Just as a reminder, I'm sorry, just as a reminder, because I don't know if everyone read my late email today, just because of the timing of the receipt of this application, it is an actionable item, so it can be approved or denied tonight.
So my question is, what did we receive as an application?
Back out of here. This is the general application that was received.
That's the next one.
Yeah, that's the next
Oh, I'm sorry. Whoops, my
That's the
bad.
shed.
Let me close that right there. Pardon my computer skills.
Yeah.
I can bring a copy of this one, so you have it.
It's in our packets, I think.
Okay, because if it's, I see what I saw was the, kind of the one-page summary and then an aerial image with the fence
The area
drawn on
is
it.
is the temporary fence, yeah.
Okay, is that,
Is the area we're hoping to put the permanent fence for the purposes of this permit.
Here's Exhibit 1 on the screen for you. It's the general application page 1, and Exhibit 2, and that's my
Okay.
application. I'll double check the file for any other.
Okay, I don't think that this is I don't think this is a particularly complicated application, and I don't necessarily mean to make this more complicated than it needs to be, but I do think that at a very minimum, an application should include a map showing the actual wetlands locations, a description of the distance from the work to the wetlands, and some discussion of any potential impacts to wetlands.
What do you see?
And
Oh, sorry.
Okay, well, so, so we do get, we get applications from, most folks who look like, well, like the second application, which is not, not particularly complicated, but there's a site plan with topo lines, there's, wetlands lines are marked, vegetation is marked on it. But so my first, just concern is that I really don't think that this is a complete application as submitted.
Okay.
And my second concern is that I feel like there should be, again, this is a very simple application. So in this instance, it's not something I'm necessarily worried about. But I do think as a general rule, there should be some degree of separation between our town staff reviewing the application and the person preparing the application.
Oh, there.
And, okay, well, so in this case, it's, we have an applicant who's, I understand that you both work for the town,
Oh,
on the same team, but, I want to make sure that we maintain that separation, right?
I
Between the reviewer and the preparer, right? And it's really up to the applicant to understand what the regulations are, how the application conforms to those regulations, and then for our reviewer to review it as such. Not that you can't provide comments and provide some assistance. I think that's very helpful for every applicant. But at the same time, I think we need to recognize that there should be some separation.
I just like to give comments. That staff comment that was given was just basically a general review of the application for as staff sees the project and it's up to the commission to discern what they see the application as well. It's just an assistance.
Okay.
And I will say, I apologize that if it's not, this isn't my area of expertise, I don't do this every day, and this is kind of my first go-around with doing something like this, so I apologize if it wasn't exactly what you were looking for.
No, well, so I think it's helpful. So the state has an application that I think the second applicant filled out. Not everybody does, but it's a series of questions. It's like several pages about the application. And you don't have to use that form, but it can be a very helpful guide to answering a lot of really common questions.
And it's helpful when you fill out the application, because that gets you thinking about some of the issues. I mean, the application is structured so that you start thinking about the issues that are relevant.
And so the issue is really going to be that that these two exhibits are going to go in the file, and then 5 years from now, somebody's going to wonder about whether you had a permit for this or not, and they're going to pull this out and they're going to say, well, what was done? And it's really not clear from the materials in the file what was done. So those are my concerns, and I think, this is simple enough. We've got everybody here. This is not, not something that we need to.
But going forward.
Sure, but, going forward, I think that the expectation should be a lot higher for, these applications. And I understand that you're both,
Oh, no, that's no
new,
problem.
but this is it's a very common problem with applications that we get from the town.
The second applicant did get some guidance from my office.
All right, that being said, do you feel comfortable about making a motion?
I'll make the motion, Jim. I make the motion, this item is a regulated activity within the upland review. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right,
Aye.
the first motion should be whether
Marjorie,
it's.
I'm going to abstain because I'm on the, if this
should
is
it?
the application 20-01,
Yes.
I'm actually on the PAC
Wait, no,
board,
did I get it backwards?
so I abstain.
Can you state
Yes,
your
Joe?
name, please? Joe?
Yeah, this is Joe Campolita, and so I'm actually recusing myself, that this is the one at the PAC.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, Joe.
So I will recuse myself, because I am on the PAC board.
Got it.
Okay. This,
Okay, the second motion I make is the activity is not a significant threat to the wetlands.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And I abstain, of course,
Okay,
Campolita.
I make the third motion to approve the application subject to the special and standard conditions.
Staff conditions?
Yeah, sorry. Motion to approve application subject to special and standard conditions I got.
All right.
I'm sorry, do we have, I don't think we have staff report. We have comments?
That's my general report.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm learning how you guys like to make your motions and everything else, so I do apologize. Coming from a different town, it was run a little bit differently, so I'm getting a handle on it, so in the
Alright.
future, we'll
Yeah.
get things all tightened up to the way you guys go. I apologize
Alright,
if
no,
it's
no.
misleading.
Learning, all right.
I'll second.
Can we just amend the motion?
Go ahead.
That the applicant will coordinate with town staff.
Okay.
As, before the construction activity.
Okay, I amend my motion that the applicant will work with town staff.
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All right,
Aye. No, Campolita abstains.
all right. Thank you, Tom.
Thank you. Thank you. Stay healthy.
You too.
The special conditions.
All right, the next,
Anita, are you in the room yet?
I wrote it down because I...
Yes,
Okay.
can you hear me?
Yes, we
Alright,
can. We'll open
so-
up your application.
all right, application number
Okay.
20-02 of Anita S. Miller, applicant owner, to construct a shed on the property located at 45 Ichabod Road, Assessors Map C18.
49,
49, I'm sorry.
49.
49 Ichabod Road, Assessors Map C18, Block 601, Lot 038, Zone R25.
To help the applicant, because she's not here, this is an application for her to install a shed on her residential property on Ichabod. A field visit was done with the resident about location choices and best location for their shed. I believe this application is more complete. We did go through the 12-item checklist. The topo does represent the wetlands line as well. That is a shaded area.
Just one quick question. Is the shed going to be sitting on blocks? So is the gravel area sitting on blocks? Is that,
Anita?
It's just going to be crushed gravel.
so it's just going to be sitting on crushed gravel? Oh, okay.
Correct.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
The area where the shed now is ivy and, Or is
The
that-
area upon the site visit was just maintained grass and mossy area. They have a lot of trees. They were trying to tuck it in between the trees to avoid cutting of trees.
okay.
And it's pretty flat back there.
Correct. Where the wetland area, it was very easy for me to delineate with visually due to drop pockets that held some moisture. And it seemed to be resembling the lines that our map represents, and I will get the topo with the wetlands line up here on the screen. So that gray shaded area is very representative of that, and it's a very wooded wetland. And their driveway comes basically to the rear of the house. And the shed would be located.
And whereabouts is the shed on that map?
In this general area.
That area, okay. So more towards it's showing it more up at the corner here.
Yeah, I don't know that that was a scaled drawing that they had there.
Okay.
In our field visit, this is the discussion area.
Okay.
The discussion area was here or over here, and both would have minimal impact to vegetation. It's already maintained area.
About how far from the wetlands would be the closest part of the shed?
I would probably say about 20 feet, 25 feet. The problem that they have is encroachment on the driveway. There's camper parking space here. And, I'm sorry, the driveway is here, but around the house, there's a camper parking space here. And so they use that as parking, so they get a kind of pinched here in what they want to use it for. And please, Anita, correct me if I'm wrong. It's a smaller shed, and it was for mainly storage of lawn equipment. Is that?
Right, it's 8 by 12.
So very minimized size. It
Yeah.
is a tight spot, so.
Any questions,
Very straightforward application.
Jim?
Is it going over the storm drain? One of the storm drains?
Don't believe so. I don't know if
I'm
it's.
looking at the engineer drawing.
No.
Shows
Oh, you have the
a couple of
engineer
storm
drawings?
drains.
Is that for that?
I don't, is that part of the
No, I
packet?
think that's for, I think that's another, I think that's
No,
for Country
I think you
Club.
got is that Country Club? I think you have Country Club.
Yeah, there's no storm there.
Oh,
Yeah, you're looking at the wrong one.
I'm sorry.
That'll be for the next determination from the staff, from the commission. There's no drainage back there that I
Never
know
mind
of.
then. Okay, never mind then.
If there are no more questions, I'd entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion that we find that this is a regulated activity.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion that we find that this is not a significant activity as is occurring outside of the wetlands and should not in any way affect them.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye?
And I'll motion that we approve this application subject to the standard conditions and staff condition.
This one has not been received for the 30 days. You can delegate it to me for approval.
Oh.
That's the option that we have because of the current conditions that it could get approved. As your voted in agent, the state gives me the authority to do that under your direction. So the motion would be not for approval, but to delegate this to the agent for approval.
All right.
Under the circumstances, I have no problems with that.
I have no objection.
Okay.
All right.
No.
Any
okay.
objections? All right, so,
So I will motion that we delegate the approval to use her, given the,
With the condition,
with the,
tell me what conditions you want.
subject to the standard conditions and special conditions in the staff report.
There are no special,
No special
standard
conditions.
conditions.
No.
There's no staff report.
Okay. So, subject to the standard conditions.
I second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye?
Any opposed? All right. Good,
Thank you, Anita.
Thank you very much.
I will be in touch.
all right.
Okay, thanks again.
All
All
right,
right, this one comes from me, so, let me get this up here for you. I'll pull up the engineer drawing. Don't pull it. That's correct. So we'll start with the site plan. This is a vacant building lot on 21 Country Club Drive. The conditions on the site are unique due to the fact that from the topo that you could see for existing conditions, it is flat near the road, but it drops off precipitously as you move into the lot and then rises out towards the south of the lot. My question, and I went out and did a field check, and I will show you photos of what I saw in the ravine. I talked to the design professionals who did this engineered drawing, Christian Alford. I questioned the pipe in the bottom of the ravine and why, and as you can see, there's considerable regrading of the site. Both the town wetlands map, the NRCS map, and our public map show no wetland soils here whatsoever. There's a drainage culvert head off to the westerly area that's noted on the engineered plan, and that piping is basically is a continuation from the street and then back out towards a wetland area to the west on the other side of the road. Give me a second, I'll get the name of that road. Goes out to a wetland area on the opposite side of Cedar Hill Road. So I went out to walk the site before I talked to the site engineers, and here are the photos that I had seen. This is the top edge of the slope looking down. Blow that up. So basically looking down, and the ravine would be across the bottom, just past the tip of that cut stump. Close that down. As I'm going down to the bottom of the slope, this is the bottom of the slope. I saw no scour, the leaves were all settled. Even with the disturbance of the tree clearing, the leaf litter was undisturbed.
Is this also facing south?
This is also facing south. Sitting in the ravine and looking easterly, you could see the topography and how it kind of has that concave shape to it. And looking easterly, this is towards those head walls. So it kind of even rises up a little bit, but it does meander that way due to topography. And then again, looking westerly, you can see this is the most exaggerated area. So basically what they have is a ravine that most likely in severe storms might have some water flow. And the design, I'll go back to the engineered drawing if everyone's satisfied with those.
And you didn't see any staining on the leaves, so.
No staining on the leaves. I kicked the leaves aside. It just looks like natural decomposition under there. The woody matter that looks older and more rotted, that wasn't cut, like branches that came off, everything from the cut was cleaned up. Those didn't show any signs of like being pushed and piled in any kind of flow pattern or anything like that. So Alford and Associates said that they were putting in the pipe due to the grade change, and they did not want to cause in any kind of particular event, and I will call it an event, not just a normal rain, but like a major storm event. Didn't want to have any flow backing up due to their grade changes to the west. Right? No, east, excuse me. In that, he discussed with me that it was more of a just in case because of the amount of grade change. And beyond this, up over in this area, there is a significant wetland. So if in a storm event, what I kind of was judging might happen is that because this is higher topography over here, the wetlands get inundated with water. That overflow will follow that natural channel just down to here. But it just shows no sign of running any other time. I couldn't see any flow. Everything was dry from the head wall all the way up to that wetland. I even walked off the property up to the wetland area. So I couldn't see it as an intermittent stream or any kind of water course.
When you say storm event, are you talking 10-year?
I'm probably talking a really good heavy downpour, because I went out there after a rainstorm.
Right.
And the water had already perked through the soils. There was no pond, there was no puddling, nothing like that. And I certainly will go out there again tomorrow just to verify, because I guess we're supposed to get some really good rain. But it was a decent storm event.
Okay.
And I would have assumed, because on the other side of the road where there is heavier flow, all those catch basins were flowing out through the neighborhood. These catch basins up here on Country Club were dry. The head walls were dry. There was no sign of water flow.
Okay, so has the site been cleared?
The site has been cleared because there wasn't a wetland, so we could clear it.
So you might have also had some intercept by the trees and some.
Yeah, back then, but like I said, that's why I wanted to go out there now that it was
Yeah.
cleared. And even down the steep slope, because it is a very steep slope going to the bottom of this ravine, I didn't see any, even where there was disturbance of soils from them driving down and driving out, I didn't even see any washout in those tire tracks or anything like
Do we
that.
know what kind of soils?
I can't say offhand, and I apologize for that, but they were at least moderately, if not excessively, drained from what I recall.
And no wetlands,
No
plant
wetlands.
species?
Didn't see anything down there. It was all, the understory for that area was all leaf litter. There wasn't even low story, either high bush blueberry or anything like that that I could see growing underneath it. It looks like there was a lot of pine in there, so the soils might have some acid to it. I don't know if that would have any effect on that vegetation, but the understory was,
It wouldn't affect the blueberries.
no, the high bush blueberry, I know.
But the sun might, they may not have any sun.
Yeah, they were probably choked out, but the understory, there was no indicators down there.
Is, was there a house here before?
No, this is the last building lot in the subdivision, and it's probably left just because of that difficulty. They're gonna have to bring in a large quantity of fill, that's a cost prohibitive thing.
Are they gonna put, are the roof drains gonna go out into that ditch from the house? And what about is the driveway gonna drain back there?
I hadn't gotten that point in the application, but from seeing what they have, I would assume that that's gonna be a soft edge in that turnaround. And I'm not showing any roof leader connections.
The turnaround in the driveway?
Yeah, and the turnaround in the driveway. A lot of the driveways in this neighborhood, due to the steep slopes, do have curbing on them in order to keep them from being undermined. I did not get to that discussion. As you can see up above, on the front yard, there is a yard drain that connects to this. So I would assume that the driveway is an impediment to flow up there, so they may have curbing on it. Otherwise, I would just assume that it's a normal curbless driveway with sheet flow. And yeah, like I said, I see the retention wall off the rear westerly corner of the house. That's probably also to stabilize in that area to the side of the garage.
So where they have the stone check dam during construction, will that be removed afterwards? And-
Yeah, I believe that because they're normally it is. I have dealt with Alfred Associates on several occasions in my previous position in another town. If it was requested by anybody to be left, they could, but I would not want to impede that flow into the wetlands to the west. I think it's just because of disturbance and fill that they want to make sure if they do have a storm event, then nothing makes it past that. Use it as an ENS control. So I was just looking for an agreement or a determination that this wouldn't have any impact and it's not an activity in a regulated area. My concern was from the evidence that I gathered, would the commission try to look at this as an intermittent water course? But with no scour, I didn't feel that way, but just to being new, I wanted to present it to the commission in order for them to make a determination so that you are aware of what's going on and that we're all on the same page.
It'd be nice to know what the soil types were for that site.
I can say they're not wetland soils,
yeah.
but that's, I
Just have it in
apologize
the-
for not having that
just
exact
have it in the
fact.
record, yeah.
If you bear with me, I might be able to get it for you while we sit here, if I can get the web on this. I'm not quite sure if I can get it on this computer.
Just point of question, order or question here.
Yeah.
On a determination, do we have to make a motion and vote on this, that we do not see that this is a regulated activity?
I would say, no, it's just a determination. I'm looking just for an opinion. You guys can all make a motion. It's not a legally binding thing. I just want to clear it with you, because I saw this and I saw the ravine, and Mike and I discussed it. He did field checks, and I said, I think it's probably safe to make sure that they agree with me with my findings so that this activity can move forward. And if something comes up in the neighborhood because of the wetland pockets throughout the area, someone doesn't go, hey, they're filling in a wetland, I can say that we've all discussed it and have determined that it is not a wetland.
I mean, I don't see an issue with this. From what you stated in your expert opinion, I do not see an issue with this. And I do believe what you said, Marjorie, maybe we should just check the soil to make sure.
Well, just make sure it's
Yeah.
excessively drained.
I could certainly get that information to you. I cannot get the internet on this, so.
Okay.
But I will get the exact soil type,
Could double check on that.
and I will email it to the commission come tomorrow.
Okay.
That's the soil type based on the,
I will base it on NRCS.
And it's not, how far up does the, sort of the catchment area go? I mean, is it like up here, is it farther up this way? I mean, does the catchment area, the
The
that's
wetland
draining,
area
the
farther
way-
on.
Yeah,
It's gotta be a good, I'd say, 600-700 yards from the property line on that easterly side. I mean, it was a bit of a hike back there.
and it's a forested wetland?
Forested.
Yep.
And that area is not a developable area, per the subdivision. That is not a building lot back there, so we should not have to, entertain that project.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think based on your report and your pictures, I think, I mean, I would feel comfortable
Okay.
making a determination.
I would also agree, just double check the soils and that'll just.
That information will come to you so that we all know, and then we're all on the same page, just in case you're questioned by the public or I'm questioned by the public.
Okay.
Thank you very much for that.
All right. General Commission business, approval of minutes from the February 18th regular meeting. Let's see, we've got the minutes for,
That's not our minutes.
that's not our minutes.
Oh, I've got the
We got
right
the-
one.
So we can,
Let me, hold on, I can pull them
Okay.
up here.
It's nice to know the other boards, though.
I'm sorry.
I don't know these people.
I don't
Yeah.
put the benefits together. Where did I put the minutes right here?
Let's see if I
Is your
got it.
neighbor or friend?
Craig, he was a wetlands.
Conservation Commission minutes, they should have been the right ones in the Dropbox if you had a chance to look at it before.
Yeah.
But I'll slowly scroll through this on here. I know sometimes we have name errors and such. Charles, I believe you got an R in your name again. Is this the right?
Yes, I was gonna mention that, no R.
Yep, I'm aware of that. I will strike that. I don't know if that's a spell check thing. Tell it to ignore it. So there's the appointments of me and Mike. Mike and I, excuse me. I don't know what I have in my head.
Your mother's an English teacher?
No, I just had a poor English teacher in middle school. Here's our commission work, the Open Space, Conservation Commission for the Open Space, general synopsis.
Terriffill Road. Should be
Yeah.
T-A, the bottom line, middle, it's
Line
just a
49.
misspelling of Terriffill.
Spelling of Terriffill. Noted.
Should be in.
Tariff, T-A-R-R.
Fair enough. This is typically what I find in these spelling errors.
All right,
And then there's adjournment.
all right. If there are no other changes, we will file these for the record. And moving on to Conservation Commission duty work, I know at our last meeting,
Would you like to table this because of the situation? It's up to you guys.
which, yes, I would like to, yeah.
Okay, you
Yeah.
can make a motion to
Yeah.
table it.
At the last meeting, we didn't really have a chance to discuss the remediation at the Fireworks Road. We had a report saying that there are some invasive plants that we need to, but given the circumstances, I think we want to delay this discussion.
Fine with me.
So, would need a motion to delay that or table that?
Make a motion that we table the Conservation Commission duty work.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, all right, good. And that would also go for the Open Space Working Group, which is also on delay. And so all we need is a motion for adjournment.
Just
Motion,
before we adjourn.
Oh, sorry, yes.
How are we gonna work going forward here in this little crisis?
I will have to give you guidance on that.
Okay.
It is changing if not daily, hourly. We are,
Understood.
at this point, most state facilities are closed or closing. We do not know if town facilities close to the public tomorrow, but moving forward, we don't even know if we'll be ordered to close.
Okay.
So with that, at this time, because of how applications are handled, and the timelines, we're at this point not receiving applications so that that clock does not start and run into automatic approvals. So we're not receiving applications at this time to just put a pause button on everything until we get more clarity. That way, we won't have someone try to sneak something in and wait for a 65-day automatic
Okay,
approval.
good.
Thank you. Good to know.
That's it.
All right. All right.
Motion, we adjourn.
All right.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
All right.